Thanks for tuning into the 6Three podcast. I'm your host, Joel, and my co-host, Ben. Welcome back, Ben, from a Tennessee vacation.
Thanks.
We had Blake on last week to discuss the postseason preview and make our final award predictions. But this week we get to get on our continuum of our MLB redrafts, and then we'll discuss Michigan football and Lions football. Very polar opposites feelings for those right now. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see if I can keep my composure when we get to those. So
got a few
All right.
things to talk about. Unfortunately, good. Actually, there's zero good to talk
good,
about.
bad, and probably a lot of ugly, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that. So 2004 is the year we've now trekked our way through from 1990. And it's an interesting class. Ben has an interesting decision to make here for his first overall pick.
That was Braden. No. But
It's already you've already said it.
I am gonna go pitcher route. I'm gonna go with Justin Verlander here. I think this is the first starting pitcher that we have to pick first overall. So I think easily the earliest we've gone pitcher. And that mostly has to do with the state of the position players in this draft. I don't think it's not terrible, but there's just nobody that stands out in the top end enough to want to take before Verlander. So we'll take Verlander.
So you were not wrong. Verlander was my first overall, and so that adds up to me. So that's why
he's a Hall of Famer. Can't be mad about it.
So Verlander's a good pick. My next pick is going to be. Take Dustin Pedroia.
Okay.
Plays second base, played from 2006 to 2019 with a 299 average, 140 homers, 725 RBIs, 140 stolen bases, over 1,800 hits. He was an MVP, a Rookie of the Year. He had 4 All-Star games, 4 Gold Gloves, including Platinum Gloves, and a Silver Slugger and a 52 WAR.
Okay. Look at this real quick. I'm going to pick Ben Zobrist.
Ooh.
Don't know where I'm going to play him yet. We'll figure that out at the end.
Yeah, that can move anywhere pretty much.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. 44.5 WAR, over 1,500 hits, 167 homers, hit 266, 3-time All-Star, won a couple World Series, was a World Series MVP as well one year. Really solid player overall. I would say later in his career, he really kind of flourished. Had some really good years with the Cubs there. From 2016 until he retired after the 2019 year. Some would say he retired pretty early, but I think there was some, I don't know, marriage things going on.
There's a lot of marriage things going on. Yeah, his wife was some Christian EDM singer, and she cheated on him, and now she's a progressive weirdo. So
yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but we don't need to dive into that. But very versatile guy, play a lot of different positions, second base, right field, left field, shortstop. So gives you flexibility.
Yeah, it's so much flexibility. You have no idea where you're playing him yet. So
not yet. We'll find out. We'll figure it out later.
Let the spirit move you.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Hunter Pence, 4th year, to play right field. Played from 2007 to 2020. 279 hitter, 244 homers with 950 RBIs, 120 stolen bases, nearly 1,800 hits. He had 4 All-Star games to go with that and a 31 WAR. I'll put him there.
Okay. Give me Dexter Fowler, I suppose, for center field here. 19.4 WAR, was a All-Star one year, won the 2016 World Series with the Cubs. 127 homers, over 1,300 hits, hit 259. Only played 14 years. Led the league in triples one year with 14. The next year he had 15 and didn't lead the league. Had 149 stolen bases as well. Overall, really good outfielder. Solid player. So we will take him out there. Tall for a baseball player, 6'5".
Very fast. One of the faster players in the game for a while there too. So
yeah.
Here's another guy that I really probably can adjust. however the spirit moves me to play him. But Ian Desmond is who I'll take right now. Played shortstop, first base, outfield. Played for 11 years, I think, in the bigs, 2009 to 2019. So he took a little longer than most of these players in this list to make the bigs, but 263 hitter, 181 homers, 711 RBIs, 181 stolen bases, almost 1,450 hits, 2 All-Star games, 3 Silver Sluggers, and a nearly 16 and a half WAR.
Okay. Check something here real quick. Give me Kenley Jansen.
Hey.
19.6 WAR, 42 and 28 in his career, 2-time Hoffman reliever of the year, 2.46 ERA in his career, 3-time All-Star, won the 2020 World Series. Yeah, one of the more dominant relievers in his career. In his time there, 391 saves. So definitely going to be the closer on this team. He's getting up there in age now, but he's still playing. So
he is. Yep. I think it helped. He was an international player, so that's why he's still active, unlike some of these other guys.
Yep.
Let's see here. Man, oh man. Yeah, this is a rougher class for hitting, for sure. So I'll take this guy plays either first base or DH. I'll take Billy Butler here. Played from 2007 to 2016. A 290 career hitter, 150 homers, 730 RBIs, only 5 stolen bases, kind of a putz, nearly 1,500 hits, an All-Star game, a Silver Slugger, and a 12 WAR.
He had a lot of doubles.
Did hit a lot of doubles.
There was a game I went to. He was playing against the White Sox, and he was 4 for 4 with 4 doubles.
Like, he was a really great hitter though for a long time.
He was. Okay. Man, I don't know. This is not good. I don't like this.
I'm not having fun.
No, I'm really not. There's a couple of different routes. I'm going to take this in a different way. I'm going to take Johnny Cueto here.
Man, loading up. You're pitching. You might just shut me out.
It's kind of what I'm thinking.
I know with this offense, now would be the chance, right? Most pitchers can probably contain these offensive players.
So 36.5 WAR, 143 and 107, 3.44 ERA. This year he's actually got a 3.5 WAR. At his age is pretty impressive. He's 36. Led the league in innings pitched in 2014, 2-time All-Star. Overall, just a really good pitcher. Also led the league in strikeouts that year at 242. Was a big strikeout guy early in his career, and he just kind of learned how to pitch more and more later in his career. So he's just fun to watch right now because he's just kind of a throwback, a lot different than a lot of the guys out there right now. So impressive career for Johnny Cueto.
Yeah. Speaking of a big strikeout guy, that'll be my next player, Mark Reynolds.
Yes.
Played third base.
Strikeout guy.
Big strikeout. He led the league in strikeouts 4 years in a row.
I think I don't know if he still does. He have the record for a single season still? He might.
I thought Ryan Howard or Chris Davis might have passed him. Maybe Adam Dunn passed him. I don't know. Those are all big strikeout guys.
They might have.
But yeah, Mark, I don't know if it was his first couple of years in a row, well, 4 years in a row from the 2007 to 2019 window, led the league in strikeouts. So that says a lot. He was a 236 hitter, so not great for that, but he hit 300 home runs in his career. All or nothing, kind of like Adam Dunn, Ryan Howard, guys like that. So Chris Davis.
To answer the question, he does currently still hold the record. Adam Dunn is second, one behind him. But in 2009, he struck out 223 times.
Oh my goodness.
In 662.
If you strike out 180 times in a season, that's horrendous. 220 something.
The sad thing is, I'm looking at the top 10, and he's on. No, I'm looking at the top 15, and he's on here 4 times.
Yeah, I was good. Well, I did say he led 4 years in a row. It's probably all those 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had almost 1,300 hits, 64 stolen bases, 870 RBIs, and just shy of a 7 WAR. So
he could have had pop. I'll give him that.
I know. That's why I'm thinking I'll put him at like the 5 or 6 spot, depending on how my lineup shakes out. But
right. Okay. Give me Lorenzo Cain.
All right, filling out that. Well, I guess you could put Sowers in the outfield, and then you're done.
Could, and it would be completely filled out, but we'll see how that goes. I hated watching Lorenzo Cain play because he's lazy. But you know,
he has so much potential though, because he almost 200 stolen bases. It's like a guy that athletic and quick.
Sure,
could have done.
Yeah,
so much
he
more.
was. One of the better, more athletic outfielders. 38.4 WAR still.
I know it's a high WAR.
Hit 283. 87 home runs. Not a huge lot of pop, but he did hit a decent amount of leadoff home runs. Over 1,200 hits. 2-time All-Star. Won a Gold Glove. 2015 World Series. But yeah, I just thought he just like inexplicably would drop the ball in the outfield randomly. A couple years over 30 stolen bases. So yeah, really didn't walk a lot and struck out a decent amount for a guy like that, but still had a hit for a high average. So pretty good overall player.
I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm continuing to take positional players. I'm going to take DH here, though. I'll take Kendrys Morales.
Okay.
Yeah, he could play first base if he needed to, but he was a pretty terrible fielder. Mostly played DH for the Angels from 2006 to 2019, 265 hitter, 215 homers, 740 RBIs, about 1,300 hits. He had a silver slugger and a 13.5 WAR.
Okay, I will take Mark Trumbo here. 2-time All-Star, 9.5 WAR. We'll put him at first base for now. He might end up DHing. We'll see.
Yeah, it depends where Ben Sowers goes, really.
Yep. Over 1,000 hits, 218 homers, hit 249. 2-time All-Star. Had 47 home runs in 2016. Pretty impressive. A couple other years over 30. So was a good power guy. Decent RBI guy, 629 RBIs. Only played 10 years though. So kind of his career was a little bit shorter. He did strike out a good amount. That same year he had 47 home runs. He struck out 170 times, so he only hit 256. So not a great average guy, but had some pop. So we'll take him.
Yeah. All right. So this guy won the Wilson overall defensive player of the year. He's a 2-time Gold Glover. I'm going to take Gerardo Parra, right outfield. Really good outfielder. Played from 2009 to 2021. 275 hitter, only 90 home runs, over 530 RBIs, just shy of 100 stolen bases, almost 1,350 hits, and an 11 WAR.
Okay. Oh man, I don't know. Give me Houston Street.
All right. You know, part of me is going to regret not drafting any of these guys, but
2-time All-Star, one of the better closers of his time, 324 saves in his career. He'll not be known for blowing some saves as well, but
the Maglio Ordonez home run.
That's kind of the life of the closer. That's how it works. 14.5 WAR, was a Rookie of the Year. 42 and 34, a 2.95 ERA. So it was an extremely effective reliever. So we will take Houston Street.
You took him pretty much right where I ranked him. So I had him at 16. You took him at 15. So good pick. All right. Any other positional players I have? Because at this point, I'm just going to go all in and take the scraps for pitchers.
You have to, sort of.
I kind of feel like I'm at that point. I have to move. Who do I have to move around? He moved Ian Desmond to the outfield so that I can put maybe take Neil Walker, who can play the infield.
Okay.
Played from 2009 to 2020, 267 hitter, 150 homers, 609 RBIs, 32 stolen bases, almost 1,250 hits. He had a silver slugger and just about a 20 WAR.
Okay. Take David Peralta.
Trade piece from the Rays to the Rays
Yeah.
from Diamondbacks this year.
He's played from 2014 until 2022. So he didn't break in that quick. 110 home runs. He had 30 home runs in 2018. Led the league in triples twice. Good outfielder. Doesn't strike out a ton. Just overall solid player. Hit 281 in his career, 15 WAR. Hasn't been great this year, but you know he's been solid for the Rays right now.
Good one.
So I'm probably going to put him. Obviously, I'm going to put him in the outfield. So we're going to move Ben Zobrist right now to
second or short, probably, right?
shortstop.
That's where actually fun. It's funny where I put him right away at the initial list. I had him at
Just
short
because of who else is listed as a shortstop.
Yeah. I had to do some moving around pieces with some, like obviously Ian Desmond I like there, but
Yeah. That could change, I suppose, but I doubt it.
I'm going to take Kurt Suzuki.
Okay.
Play catcher here. 255 hitter, 145 homers, 730 RBIs, 20 stolen bases, over 1,400 hits, an all-star game, and just shy of a 20 WAR.
All right. So I'm going to take Tadahito Iguchi.
Hey, second base?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, he only played in his major league career. He only played 4 seasons, technically. He had a very extensive Japanese career as well. But in his major league career, 6.4 WAR in 4 seasons, that's not bad. 44 home runs, 268 batting average, almost 500 hits. But he only played, in his Japanese career, we've got some Japanese stats here. Overall, pretty good Japanese player, and he played starting in 1997 in Japan. But he didn't play in the majors until 05. Won the World Series that year in 05 with the White Sox. But 268, 44 home runs, 205 RBIs, good defender, could run a little bit. Still raw solid player. I'm gonna put him.
He deferred to go back to Japan right after he played those 4 years, so he played for several years before he came.
I believe so. So yeah, he started in. Let's see. So he started in Japan in 1997.
Okay.
Played until.
And then came to the U.S. in 2005,
United
right?
States until 2007, and then played down. Got sent down a little bit, and then came back up in 2008 with the Padres and the Phillies, and then went back over from 2009 until 2017. So he played back from Japan in Japan from age 34 until age 42. And played pretty well. I mean, he hit 281, 294, 297.
Yeah, those Japanese players seem to have some life to them, you know?
Yeah, they've got some longevity for whatever reason.
Because Kurt Suzuki is still going.
Probably because they don't eat McDonald's.
That's probably a huge help, you know, it really is.
Taco Bell. I don't think that's a thing over there.
Oh man, who do I have next? Do I take my first pitcher? No, I'm taking my backup catcher, Wilson Ramos.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, he was a kind of a backup catcher even for the Tigers when he was there for that 1 year. So, yeah, played from 2010 to 2021. A 271 hitter, 136 homers, 534 RBIs, a stolen base, 950 hits. He had 2 All-Star games, a silver slugger, and a 15.2 WAR.
Okay. feeling this guy stunk worse than I remember, but that's fine. Take Trevor Plouffe. He'll play first base for me.
All right. I remember Trumbo.
7.3 WAR, 710
So
hits.
where are you moving Trumbo to?
Trumbo is DHing now. So 7.3 WAR, 710 hits, 106 homers, hit 242. Only played 9 seasons, so only played until he was 32. Partially probably because he stunk at the end of his career, but that's okay. Not a great average guy. A little bit of pop here and there.
I remember he had some great swings against the Tigers when he played for the Twins.
Yep, had his best years were definitely with Minnesota. He broke through in 2010 with them. So, overall, a pretty decent player. I remember him probably because he played against my team, but yeah,
and that's probably why I remember him too. AL Central killer.
Yep.
Oh man. All right. Yep. First pitch is going to happen now. Finally, Jared Weaver.
Yep.
2006 to 2017. He had 150 wins and 98 losses. So it's pretty impressive when you go 52 wins over 500, and then a 3.63 ERA. Almost 1,650 strikeouts. He started 331 games. He had 3 All-Star games and over a 34.5 WAR. I do remember his Carlos Guillen walk-off home run, and they got a little bit of a spat because of the Carlos Guillen bat flip and stare down.
Jared Weaver was definitely
He's kind of a hothead.
A red ass, I would call him. He thought he was I would agree.
But he kind of reminds me of Joe Kelly.
A little bit. Yeah. All right, I'm going to take Wade Davis, put him in the bullpen as well.
All right.
10.3 WAR, 3-time All-Star, 63 and 55, a 3.94 ERA. Had 141 saves, had 43 saves in 2018, 32 in 2017. Was part of that Kansas City bullpen that got them a World Series in 2015. Pretty nasty. Was a starter at the beginning of his career too. And then transitioned to the bullpen, threw very hard out of the bullpen too. So overall, really good. His FIP, his fielding independent pitching, which is a stat I'm starting to like even more, was 3.86. So pretty good.
We should do a segment on that sometime. What stats do you like the most for specific sports that are kind of underrated? Because we talked about the BABIP.
Because you talk about that would be interesting. We should do that.
I like that idea. One
of
these days,
week where Michigan's got a bye week or something. Well, maybe at the end after football season we'll do that. Where it's all right, do you like? Because some of these analytic stats, because there's analytic stats in all sports now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and even probably a month or so ago, maybe almost 2 months, we talked about BABIP even for a little bit there. So
I think that matters. I think that's a thing.
Uh-huh.
ERA plus, I'm starting to find some value in. But I definitely lean. I'm a little bit more of a traditionalist in some of these senses, where I think the classic stats have a lot of value. But I think you got to look at it all, and that's how you're making your decisions. Because I do still think wins matter. I think that but I think they matter.
They're hard for me in any sport though, because everything is a team sport.
Yeah, taking into context all the other stats though, right?
Yeah.
So if a guy's got a ton of wins as a starting pitcher, but his ERA is 4.5 as a starter, then I'm going, okay.
You knew that he got run support, basically.
Probably on some crazy good teams, right? But if his ERA is, if it's Felix Hernandez, who was 9 and 13, but he won the Cy Young or whatever one year, his ERA was 2.5 or 2 or something. Okay, yeah, he was on a terrible team. It's pretty clear, right?
Yeah.
So I think everything needs to be taken together. That would be my take. Little segue.
I try to treat pitcher wins similar to QB wins. You can really only do so much with the run support and the defense that you have.
Yes and no. I mean, if you look at it as okay, well, this is a little side thing, but okay, I don't know if you've ever looked at the one Bob Gibson season where he had a 1.12 ERA. This is the year.
I've heard of the Bob Gibson small
year. This is right before they lowered the mound, right?
Okay.
And that season, he was 22 and 9, but he had a 1.12 ERA. How in the world did he lose 9 games? Is my question, right? 1.12 ERA, 0. And he had 28 complete games.
They don't make them like that no more.
Well, no, they don't, right? and 13 shutouts, and he threw 304.2 innings. Right. So what happened? Right. I think I looked it up too, and there was only one game where he gave up more than 2 runs, and they gave up 3, which is absurd, right? But he somehow still lost 9 games, which tells you like a little bit different day and age. Like the pitching, if you look all across the year, the whole MLB that year was crazy because the mound was higher and like they lowered the mound right after 1968. But I think you take in context, you're going, okay, nobody could hit. So that's how you lose 9 games. And you look at like seasons like that, there's some crazy seasons too. Like Justin Verlander's lost games this year, and he's got a 1.75. Dylan Cease lost games this year, and his ERA is in like the low 2s, right? So
yeah, and you look at this year, for the most part, batting average is one of the lowest it's been in a long time. So
right. So it's like, what's going on here? I think that needs to be taken into context sometimes. But I agree, like I think pitcher wins matter when you get to a plateau, right? It's like, oh my gosh, he's got over 200 wins. That's like,
yeah, like when Fausto Carmona won like 21 games in one year or whatever.
Right. It's like if you win 20 games now, like you're elite. I don't care what.
Because most of the time, if you do win 20 games now, your ERA is still going to be sub 3. I haven't seen that in a long time. So
right. What's the last 30 game winner? Who's the last 30 game winner?
Roger Clemens didn't even get 30 wins, did he?
No.
Pedro Martinez, was he short one year too? Maybe Nolan Ryan.
The last 30 game winner in baseball is Denny McLain still.
And that's 70s, isn't it?
1968 for the Tigers.
Okay.
1968, Denny McLain. I could segue on Denny McLain. He's a terrible human being, but we can talk about that.
Oh, it's just because he's a Tiger.
No, it's because he owes Enterprise like thousands of dollars and stole a vehicle. He's gone to jail like 4 times.
No kidding. And you would know, of all people.
Yeah.
You're pretty tight with
Enterprise. He's a scumbag. It turns out he's not a nice person. He's a scumbag. So anyway, we'll keep talking about other stuff.
All right. My next player here after Wade Davis, I'll take Yovani Gallardo.
It's a good pick. I liked him.
I really liked him with the Brewers there for a while. Yeah. Let me pull up his numbers. I thought he was an international player, but maybe he was drafted.
I think he was.
I have to find him then because I was looking in. Oh, there he was. He sure was drafted. Yep. Played from 2007 to 2018 with 121 wins, 101 losses, just over 4 ERA, just shy of 1,600 strikeouts. He had a save, 307 games started, an all-star game. He had a silver slugger and a 22.3 WAR.
Cool. I'm going to take Martin Maldonado as my catcher. Widely regarded as one of the better actual, like, just catchers in the league for his career. Can't hit a lick.
He gets lucky and swings one over the fence every once in a while.
Yeah, 7.5 WAR, only 96 homers, hit 209. He's still playing. He's on the Astros this year. Yeah, really has never been able to hit much.
That means he's hit a home run in the last week and a half because he had 95 when I did this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he has actually recently hit a home run. Maybe he hit one tonight. I don't know. And then did have a Gold Glove in 2017. I don't know if there's a if I can see runs saved. I don't think I can on here. But yeah, considered one of the better catchers in the league for a while. Just not a good hitter, but I'll just take him as a catcher.
Okay. I'll take a reserve hitter here. Played first base in the corner outfield, Adam Lind, 2006 to 2017. A 272 career hitter with 200 home runs on the dot, 723 RBIs, 7 stolen bases, 1,250 hits, a silver slugger, and just shy of a 13 WAR.
Okay. Give me Kazuo Matsui.
Ooh, yeah, Kaz Matsui.
This is a reserve infielder. 5.3 WAR, 32 homers, 267 hitter, had 615 hits. Only played 7 seasons. Broke through when he was 28. Overall, decent player. Good infielder, considered good defensively.
What? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Was 6th in the Rookie of the Year his first season as a 28-year-old rookie. So.
I'm looking at this a little bit here. So Taguchi probably has to play second base, but Zobrist can move around still. You still don't have a third baseman, and I know Matsui could play shortstop, and you can move Sowers to third.
Yep.
Is that something you're thinking about instead of reserve infield right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because I could move Plouffe to third base.
Yeah,
And
you
then
can do that.
move Humbo back, but I don't like the outfielders right now, and I would
Okay.
like Humbo to wear. Yeah, so we're good.
Okay. Um. All right.
Or-
I guess.
Yeah, do that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send it to you later, and you can also obviously make adjustments. But
Yep.
All right. My next player here, I will take Gio Gonzalez. 2008 to 2020, he pitched 131 wins and 101 losses, a 3.7 ERA, almost 1,900 strikeouts, 344 games he pitched in, 328 started, 2 All-Star games, and almost a 28.5 WAR.
Yep, it was good. Big curveball.
The A's, he like really made the A's it was an unknown pitching staff at the time, right? And then they had like 4 pitchers that all put like sub 3.5 ERAs out there. I'm trying to remember what season that was, where it was just Gio and Kai. I think I need to look it up.
Good curveball. Big curveball. Okay, a couple more of these guys here. I really like my pitching. I feel like you're not going to score very many runs.
Yeah, it might be
I
a
might
struggle.
not score any.
I know, right? It's gonna be a Rays Guardians game in 15 innings.
Hey, give me Tony Sip.
Hey, Tony Sip was good.
3.79 or 3.72 ERA, 4.9 WAR, 26 and 22. Really just a good left-handed reliever for a while. Could eat some innings, threw hard. Overall, pretty solid player. 531 strikeouts in his career, so didn't walk a ton of guys, so pretty good.
Let's take J.A. Happ. 2007 to 2021, he pitched 133 wins, 100 losses, 4.13 ERA, 1,661 strikeouts, 328 started games, he had an All-Star game, and over a 21 WAR.
Okay. He was terrible. Give me Wellington Castillo.
All right. Didn't he come in and pitch a couple of times too for the
Probably
Twins?
did at some point. He was bad. He had a 7.3 or I'm sorry, 12.3 WAR. He might end up being my starting catcher in all actuality, just because he's a better hitter. And then I'll bring Maldonado in as a defensive replacement. He's currently on the restricted list for steroid use.
That right.
Things happen. 254 batting average, 98 home runs, 626 hits. Played for a handful of teams, 6 years with the Cubs, a couple years with the White Sox, 2 years with the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, year with Seattle, year with Baltimore. Overall, not a bad player. Much better offensively than Maldonado. Not quite the catcher, but was still pretty highly regarded.
There's one catcher that I thought that you might have taken ahead of Maldonado and Castillo that I had above both those guys, and that was Chris Iannetta. But I wasn't sure if you look at those numbers.
Yeah, I don't love Iannetta, I'll be honest. So he's on the restricted list. Let's see, why is he on the restricted list? He also opted out because of COVID at one point. Meh, whatever. But yeah, I don't love Iannetta, I'll be honest.
Yeah, he's kind of. I mean, he wasn't a great hitter either. He only hit 230, but he had 141 homers.
Yep, he played for a while.
Yeah, I remember him with the Rockies for a minute there. All right, so I think we're pretty much caught up on my player. So that was the 31st pick, and I think Iannetta and 4 players are still in that top 31 picks that I have. So my next available is Steven Drew.
Yep.
So yeah, he plays short and second, played from 2006 to 2017 with a 252 average, 123 homers, 524 RBIs, over 1,100 hits, and a 16 WAR.
Definitely not Reid Brignac.
No way.
He might be last.
Dude, I should tell you who I have last. So I actually have Matt Tuiasosopo last, but
yeah, he would be last.
But I do have so, and that's out of 71 players. I have Rob Johnson at 70, Sean Gallagher at 69, Lou Marson at 68, and then Reid Brignac at 67.
Negative WAR. So
yeah.
Seth Smith is who I'll take here as
that's my next position player. So yeah.
11.6 WAR, 126 home runs, so a little bit of pop, over 900 hits, 261 batting average. Played for 11 seasons. Had some good years with Oakland. Just decent player overall. Never big RBI guy or anything. Walked a decent amount, decent on base percentage for the most part. So serviceable player.
Yep. He was my next guy in line. Yikes. Okay. Consider him between another guy. This is tough. Man. Where is he at? I'll take Glenn Perkins here. Pitched from 2006 to 2017, 35 and 25 out of the bullpen, a 3.88 ERA, over 500 strikeouts, 120 career saves, 409 games pitched, 44 of them started. He had 3 All-Star games as well and a 9 WAR.
Take Jake McGee. 7 WAR, 32 and 28, 3.75 or 3.71 ERA. Been horrendous this year, but whatever. Who cares? Negative WAR this year for Washington. Not a good team. Still pitching. He's 35 years old, still pitching right now. Been in the league for 13 years now. 79 saves as well, so moonlighted a little bit as a closer. Was overall a really good left-handed reliever out of the bullpen.
All these guys in this class are pretty much in that like 34 to 40 age window.
Yep.
Who's my next guy here? I think I'm going to take Jason Vargas at this one. Yeah. 2005 to 2019, he pitched. He had a 99 and 99 record, a 4.29 ERA, 1,150 strikeouts, 277 started games, an All-Star game, and a 17 WAR.
Okay. How many more pitchers do I need?
Technically, you can choose between a pitcher and another positional player. So you still need 2 more positional players or 1 more pitcher and 1 more positional player. So only 2 more picks.
But I don't want a position player. They stink.
Well, then go. Do you take a pitcher?
I know.
My next best player is a pitcher, but I know I still have to pick 1 more pitcher and then a position player yet.
Yeah.
Or 2 more pitchers, I guess. You can do whatever you want. Right now, your bench is Seth Smith and Martin Maldonado.
I know. Give me Everth Cabrera. 5.3 WAR, only 12 homers, 0 pop, 246 batting average. He's from Nicaragua, which is different. Pretty good shortstop, but only played for 7 years, but was an all-star in 2013. Was great that year. Got a lot of speed, though. 7 years, he had 138 stolen bases. And then in his games played, if he averaged per season for a 162 game average, 44 stolen bases. So not bad. Good speed, not a great hitter, but a good shortstop. So go with him.
Kind of going back and forth on two pitchers here. I think I'm going to take man. I'm putting these numbers head to head. Oh man. 4.52 ERA and a 4. Okay. I'm gonna take Yolis Chassin. And it's very close between him and Phil Hughes for me. But 2009 still pitches. 338 games total. 227 of them were started. 85 and 91 with a 4.18 ERA. Over 1,150 strikeouts and over a 19 WAR.
Okay. Forgot about this guy. We'll go with Jerry Blevins.
All right.
A 6.3 WAR, 30 and 13 in his career.
Mm-hmm.
With 3.54 ERA. It's a good left-handed guy out of the bullpen. Pitched weird. Only 7 saves, so he's not a closer at all. But he kept the ball in the ballpark. Only gave up 50 home runs in his 13 seasons. Never gave up more than 7 in a season, which is great for a reliever. Didn't walk a whole lot of guys. Really didn't strike out very many guys either, but was effective. And yeah, pretty impressive career.
Right. Well, I think my last pick then is. I don't think I wanted to go with Phil Hughes as my last pick, so he'll be next. He'll be next available. Honorable mention, but I am gonna take a third. I'm gonna take the next best position player. That's Chris Iannetta. So I'll just take 3 catchers, I guess.
One can play DH, or you could stick one at first base.
Yeah, if Kendrys Morales dies or something, yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I talked about Iannetta's home run numbers: 141 homers, over 500 RBIs, 820 hits, and a 15 WAR. But he did play for 14 years, so that helps. So yeah, that is our top 40 for this one.
Yeah.
Who's my next? I gotta see who my next best available is.
There's some decent relievers still. Like overall, this is a really deep reliever class. Like even like Mike Dunn had some good years.
So I like JP Howell. That was another one that I had.
Howell was good.
Mike
Anthony
Dunn,
Swarzak,
you said Anthony Swarzak is my next another one.
Yeah.
Ivan Nova is in there. Javy Guerra.
Yeah. I thought about taking
A
Nova.
Garcia, Homer Bailey. And then Dallas Braden, I actually still do have ranked at 50.
Yep.
Jonathan Sanchez had a short career, but he had some good years.
Yep.
But yeah. So I think, my highest ranked player that still didn't get drafted was 31st, and that was Phil Hughes. So
yeah, no, he was fine. The Yankees liked him for a while. I just, didn't. He's a starter.
He did an all-star game. He did get an all-star game.
He's a starter, so that's tough. I mean, there's a couple guys that have no hitters or perfect games that didn't get picked. Dallas Braden is one. I believe he has a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
And Homer Bailey might have 2 no hitters actually. And Philip Humber threw a perfect game. Which is crazy. Let's see, Homer Bailey. Yeah, I think Homer Bailey no hitter. Yeah, 2 no hitters in his career. Pretty crazy.
So wasn't that that A's pitcher team was Trevor Cahill, Gio Gonzalez, Rich Harden, and then it had Ben Sheets and Brandon McCarthy. And
it's a lot of like very young guys who had a lot of promise, and some of them didn't turn out that. I mean, they all either got hurt or just didn't really pan fully out. I would say. So Ben Sheets had some good years with Milwaukee too, though.
Stacked too. That was Andrew Bailey, Grant Balfour, Craig Breslow, Brian Fuentes, and Brad Ziegler.
That was a good team. Good pitching staff.
So,